Okay, now's the time to let me know if you can't see the screen or can't see or can't hear me. Everybody's okay? All right, got some thumbs up there. Perfect. So one of the first things I wanted to tell you, in case you hadn't seen, I have updated the Wave Watch. So I have been working hard on that and did not know when it could be completed. So I haven't said a lot, but had mentioned it maybe a little bit. So we now have 1,000 frequency sets available. And basically those 150 extra frequencies are expansions on many files. There's a couple of new ideas. And some of the new ones would simply be the spike protein. I was able to find a frequency for that, and biofilm frequencies, and those are in the virus folder. And then I was able to find frequencies for the Solfeggio frequencies that we're going to be talking about today. And so it was just fun to kind of add to it and try to, improve on it. Some people were already overwhelmed with 850, but I think that you won't have to learn anything new. There's just more choices. So we are also including 2 wristbands, the traditional leather one that we have had for the longest time. And some of you do know that we've had a few problems with it because they made it differently. When I first made it 2.5 years ago, it was perfect. And then something changed. So we've had a little bit of problem. And so we have Velcro adjustable straps. So we'll be including both of those. And the leather band is really good now. And the Velcro adjustable strap may be a little bit more useful for some women or people who have really small wrists. It's a little bit more adjustable. I also was able to get it water resistant. Now, I can't say waterproof, and don't get that in your mind. Be careful of moisture still. Don't be washing dishes in it all the time and sprinkling your yard, and all that kind of stuff. So it is water resistant, which hopefully means that if somebody's, a sweater or, they have something dripping down their wrist, that we'll be able to have less problems with that because it now is water resistant. And then I have been able to add a 4th icon, and this will play a folder over and over and over again. So like people have made a playlist, and that's been a major question. How do I get the playlist to loop over and over? Well, previously, the original ones would loop one file. They would play one whole file one time and shut off, or play a complete folder once and then shut off. Anyway, there were just 3 different ways to do it. Now there's a 4th icon, and I do have a video of that in just a minute. And then we also have the availability. If you have a watch that has 850, 870 frequencies on it, you can order a new TF card. And so you just go to the website and click on the TF card, and you can order that. And so this is just me here. There may be a video on the website pretty soon, but you'll just get that TF card. And we're talking about, it's kind of similar to an SD card or a SIM card for your cell phone. So most people do know about that, I think. But basically, you'll just press this button right here, and then your TF card will pull out, and you've got just a little tiny card, which is hard to see, but you'll have this little tiny card, and you'll be able to exchange the new one and then just put it right back in the folder, put it in the hole and then snap it into place. It kind of makes a little clicking sound, and you just use your fingernail. So I've taken one out, and then I put it back in and adjusted it, that kind of thing. So I hope that was a little bit helpful there. See where we're at. So I put a TF card or an SD, a SIM card, same idea. Most of you know what that is from different tools that you use. So you can order a new TF our SD card to update it. And if you have an older one, I know I'm repeating, but we've had a few more people come on. And so if you have 850 or 870 frequencies, you can order a new TF card and it will update to 1,000 frequencies. Now, because it is a different version, it's not going to be water resistant, but that is available on a brand new one. And, anytime they update something and change something, I tried to look at Fitbit. I tried to look at Apple, some different ideas. It's a little hard to go from one version to the other and have that really smooth. So I wanted to offer $40 off to the first 1,000 purchasers that do order the new Wave Watch. And then, that kind of makes it about the same price as somebody who has a different version and they order the SD card. So very similar in price at that particular point in time. And then most of you have a discount that you can use if you need to. I'll flip to this here just a minute. See if it'll let me flip. Evidently, it's going to go to another slide, but there is a $100 discount. And if you bought the watch through somebody else, use their discount again. Or if you have not used a discount before, you can use sale 100 for a discount. So anyway, that would make the watch cost $457 for the brand new one. And the old ones were at $397. So I tried to kind of compensate in there for those people who had already purchased. All right, what I have up on the screen right now is a kind of a short demo of the 4 icons that are now available. There's no sound. I guess there is a sound. So that's the new icon right there at the bottom. So when it does not have a 1 in the center of that square, it will play through the whole playlist or the whole folder, that kind of thing, and loop and loop and loop as long as you allow it to, or until the batteries run out. So that was something that they had to work to get to do, but they were able to do that. So anyway, some choices can be made on your playlist now. So I hope you appreciate that effort. So here's the screen I was trying to get to. So again, for the first 1,000 orders, $40 off. Use your sale code. And again, if you can't find one and you don't know who you used before, you can still use sale 100, but try to give credit to the person that introduced you to the Wave Watch to start with. So that's just kind of an idea of some changes that I've had on my end. So at this point, I want to switch gears and tell you about a new addition to the Wave Watch that I have added. And boy, I really had fun. I have a lot of reading and studying that I have to do, and there's only so many frequencies I could put on, but I thought this was an interesting, the solfeggio frequencies are very old frequencies. And I think more and more people have been hearing about them. So they are in the emotions folder. And this is just kind of a glimpse of them, just a little bit. So I didn't really know where this word came from. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So in music, the solfège, if I'm saying that correctly, or solfeggio, is an education method used to teach pitch and sight singing of Western music. Who would have known? The name is taken from 2 of the syllables, the sol and the fa, solfeggio. See how I have trouble once in a while? So anyway, the solfeggio frequencies. So these are what we're talking about today and where they came from and why they might be important to us. So what I learned was that these frequencies were from an ancient musical scale from like the 11th century, and a monk that put them together. And they were used for evidently, hundreds of years. but then they kind of died out or something happened. And these frequencies were quote unquote rediscovered in the 1970s by Dr. Joseph Palayo. And he said that a number of these tones can bring back healing and aid the body, bringing it back into balance also, and stimulate the brain so that they're deeply healing. So MindEasy, I want to give credit. This is where I got this information from, mindeasy.com. I thought they did a great job in explaining it. So basically, these frequencies have been lost in time. Sounds kind of interesting, but the mystery gets just a little bit deeper. I'm always jumping here. Some say that this frequency was abandoned for a new musical scale, and others argue that it disappeared among political and religious turmoil in the Middle Ages. How do you like that? We always have that political and religious turmoil. It doesn't matter what era or time or century you are in, there's something that might be conspiracy ideas. So I hope I'm not saying this word too much, but I just couldn't believe it that there were even some who thought that these musical notes were downplayed, that there were biblical secrets and plots actually by the Roman Catholic Church. So I thought I should share that with you because that's just interesting to know. So whatever the cause, there were 6 key tones on this scale, and they were replaced by a 12-tone scale, which is what we use today. So I'm going to go back because I really jumped on some ideas, but I thought I was going back here. Looks like I went the wrong direction. So these were the original 6 notes that were on the scale that the monks used and that Sanskrit and India used. So they were actually used and connected with chakras. So these are the ideas that are connected to that particular frequency. So it's a 396 hertz, or the first chakra, but it's connected to liberate or liberation. So you're free yourself from harmful feelings of guilt and fear. Then a second one, and I know you can read. I don't know whether to read them for you or just let you read along. 417 hertz was used to resolve, to produce positive energy. A few different ways to say that. And then another one was 528 hertz, and that was the love frequency for the 3rd chakra. Brings transformation and miracles into your life. The 4th note was 639 hertz, and it deals with connections, families and relationships and businesses, putting those all together. So you can see that each one of them is connected to your mind, body, and spirit and tries to harmonize things. So the 5th one was a 741 hertz. And this one is more self-expression, solving, and cleansing. And then 852 hertz is awakening, and the ability to see through illusions of your life, increases awareness, and helps you return to your spiritual life. So those were the original 6 frequencies that were used in chants and toning in history for really hundreds of years by different ancient cultures. But they were especially tied together with the monks in the 11th century. Now, the person who discovered these again in the 1970s, another person added to some research, and they added 174 hertz, 285 hertz, and 763 hertz. So the same patterns that were used to research and to uncover those older frequencies, they actually, quote unquote, discovered or uncovered 3 more frequencies. So these are considered modern solfeggio frequencies. So again, here's another way to list it. And this is all 9 of them together. So you can see that the hertz starts at the bottom and then goes to the top. Now, they're basically saying that these tones only need to be listened to for a few minutes a day for a de-stressing effect to take place. Very good for us to learn. That's a big question that people ask me. How long do I have to play them? You know, there isn't a right or a wrong. These are songs. You know, you can listen to a song all day long, but they have been able to see that you can have some de-stressing effects with just a few minutes a day. So pretty easy. And then this is another way that it was brought up. So these are these frequencies again. Another way to visualize and see those different frequencies again that are in the acoustical sound range. They're very low. They are very hard to hear. So we have these frequencies on the Wave Watch, and I didn't realize it until I started working on this PowerPoint today, but they alphabetized them for me when I plainly said, do not alphabetize, you know. So I was a little shocked here, but the order, if you want to mess with it a little bit, if you want to go up, the first one would be remove pain. And they have it, you know, in alphabetical order. So remove pain is the 174. The energy field is 285. Liberate guilt and fear is the 396 frequency. And facilitate change is the 417. Now, once in a while, I see 432 scooted in there. So we may have a couple questions about that. We also see 528. And it's for the love connection, connecting relationships. And that way, I thought I'd give you both of those charts if you actually wanted to order them that way. So they should not have been alphabetized. And I'm not sure, I'll have to get those alphabetized another time, or unalphabetized, I guess. So these are the exact frequencies on the Wave Watch, plus the Solfeggio 9. I actually put all of these frequencies together. So if you just wanted to play those, you could play those all together. Let me see. I see somebody had a question here, if I can figure out how to do it here.
Linda, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
I just couldn't figure out how to get to you. There you go.
I was looking at all these frequencies. And I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but if you take the numbers and kind of switch them around, they all have the same numbers, like the 396, 639, and the 417 is 741.
You got it, gal. We're going there.
You know,
look at you.
It's amazing.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to add that in.
And isn't that so interesting? Because that's why I brought up the conspiracy type idea, you know, it sounds strange. We're talking about music and we're talking about scales and hertz and our words, you know, what we can sing, the frequency of the note that we can sing. They may have actually subdued them and tried to keep us from using them, you know, because they were the tones and the notes that would calm us and keep us and do all of these things. And they have that amazing ability to tie the 369, 693, you know, basically together. So lovely concept that you caught onto right away. Perfect, Marie. So I've already read this one, but it's worth just mentioning again, because a couple of you came in, you know, maybe just came in and saw this, but some of these notes were, they thought that that monks had been singing this for centuries. And then at some point in time around the 11th century, that there was a lot of political and religious turmoil in the Middle Ages, and the solfeggio frequencies were basically non-existent. They were wiped out and people didn't use them anymore. They replaced them with 12 frequencies. And those are the frequencies that we still use today, but they are not as calming and easing on our bodies as the 6 and the 9 frequencies. So always interesting. We aren't the only people that have lived in turmoil, obviously. Now, this scale is so important. You know, we're talking about music and musicians, and I probably should have interviewed my own son and daughter-in-law today because they're musicians. They happen to be in Europe at this point in time, and they're singing. And you know where they sing at? They sing in cathedrals. How many of you have been on some of my PowerPoints or my information where I show cathedrals that they have now measured the frequencies that that cathedral actually is toned or tuned to? And so these frequencies are very soft, and they had to use our, modern day equipment, and they kept accelerating or making it just a little bit louder and recording, and then, kept recording it until we could virtually hear it with our own ears. And then they could identify, oh, this cathedral is reverberating and resonating at 528. So what could be better than a church that you go into and you are getting these frequencies for whatever the specific purpose was? So anyway, I didn't even think of it till just now. My son and daughter-in-law, Tammy, my son Jared and daughter-in-law, Tammy, do have an amazing video that they made in a church, and they're singing Amazing Grace. And right over them is a window from the church that, just what I'm talking about. Those windows were made with the frequencies. They are the exact image of a frequency when we visualize that frequency and see it. So I'll have to put that one up. I didn't even think about that. So again, we thought we were talking about simple musical scales when it was replaced. But at that point in time, now they are saying, and they're seeing that our 12-tone scale today could possibly suppress our emotions, stifle our intuition, limit our consciousness. This is a big statement. It's even out of sync with our natural world and can influence fatigue, pain, stress, and disease. I just keep digging deeper into this, and it just amazes me more and more. But on the other hand, the scale that we've talked about and that Marie already saw, that was perfectly balanced with the numbers, quote unquote, of the universe, 369, it's consistent with those patterns, and it actually has significant healing abilities. Anybody having fun today or learning something? I just love to learn. So I hope you're with me here. Then the last thing, we repair emotional trauma. We can open up our spiritual consciousness, and even alter our DNA with this ancient scale. So it has far-reaching potential for all of us. So I was so thrilled to be able to get it on the WaveWatch. And I just want to remind you that if you are playing it on the WaveWatch, it won't make a sound hardly at all. You will not be able to hear it. Just like those churches in Europe, people were not aware that there was a sound going on. Okay. But your body is aware, because I have made, with new technology, the frequency so that they're going to be reverberating basically on your skin. And one cell will feel it. It'll feel those vibrations, and then it will start to vibrate, and the next cell does. And I know I say the same thing over again, but it just, zips through your body at 4.3 times the speed of sound. So that's why it doesn't take very long. You do not have to set and have it on all day long. Of course, you can choose one and loop it, or you can keep looping them all day long. It's your choice. These are some magnificent songs. And I guess I've already literally went over, very hard to hear. They're going to absorb the frequency from the WaveWatch. they can literally bring you back to the heavenly original tones of the heavenly spheres and put your body into balanced resonance. Now, this comes from the Solfeggio Guide. And, I copied it, the first paragraph, cut and pasted that. Basically, they're saying you can either throw it away or you can use a scale to find healing, harmony, health, and well-being in your life. So when you're using the scale, don't forget, you're not going to be able to hear it. You're going to be able to feel it. So that is a question that a lot of people have called about. They'll say, I think my Weight Watch has quit. I can't hear it. Remember, a lot of the emotions you cannot hear. And I do put that in the booklet. It does say that. But, it's hard to pick out something when you're, worrying about your speaker maybe stop working. But if you, go outside of the emotions folder and play something else and, play 2 or 3, you'll hear a bing, bing. You'll hear different tones and you'll know that your speaker is still working. So again, just an emphasis, these frequencies are not going to hardly make a sound. Now, some people have really good hearing and they might be able to hear it easier than somebody else.